goes down, I think the temperature is going to go down, and then I think you could have the possibility in the second half of a frozen field.
Temperature of 26 degrees, cloudy and cold. Matter of fact, Tom Thayer said this field can freeze in 45 minutes.
Yeah, and then that makes for a straight-ahead game, and I think the Bears have been playing that way anyway. That Dick told us yesterday that you can't run things like counters and perimeter stuff. You kind of run straight-ahead stuff, and that's what they've been doing. You don't see anyone out there bumped or anything today, do you? You don't see any of those water skiers or jet skiers out there today. They're all here at the game.
1:38 to go before halftime. Chicago in its 24th playoff game, but they have lost 3 of their last 4.
I wonder what started this snowball fight. You know, remember as a kid, there'd be a snowball fight or something, someone would come back and say, okay, who started this? That's what we want to know right now. There's a big snowball fight going on in. We want to know right now, okay, who started this thing? That's all I want to know.
Here's the Anderson kickoff. 67 kickoffs this year, 30 touchbacks. This one after some hesitation. He returned by Dennis Gentry. And he pops a big one all the way up to the 38-yard line.
Anderson kicked the heck out of the ball, and then he almost gets in the fight at the end. See, he's always the safety guy. He's the last guy. You're not supposed to block him. He doesn't want anyone to block him. And he gets a double dip there. Well, at least he has gloves on to fight.
From the 38, first down and 10. 1:29 to go before halftime. Chicago took advantage of a John Mangum interception for a 3-0 lead. They got a touchdown pass to Thornton from Mike Tomczak, and then moments ago, Morton Anderson made it 10-3. We've got 1:06 to go in the first half. Tomczak back. Over to Ron Morris. And was near Vince Buck. Boy, he had that one concentrated period of time where he just oozed confidence.
And you see, he has the signal here. Usually you can signal a play in, or the quarterback can signal back what he wants. And that's what Tomczak was doing then. He was asking for a play. In fact, I think he was asking if he could keep the same guys in there and call his own play. And then he looked over there and checked over there again. I know Mike Dick on the sideline, if you call your own, it better be a good one.
See what he has in mind, second and 10.
Now Mike Ditka's going to call this one. He's sending in Kozlowski. You see, I would think on this situation here that all you need is a first down play. I mean, I think you have to pass it here. I don't think you can run something with 3rd and 10. I think you have to pass something to get more than 1 or 2 guys up beyond that 10-yard marker.
56 seconds to go, first half. The difference in the ball game, a touchdown. 10-3. Fourth down, 45.
When you see Mike Ditka send in a play, you usually know it's a run. When he sends Kozlowski in with it, you can usually be guaranteed it's a run. But I think on 3rd down going into the wind, now you have to punt in this situation. So I think a run is kind of a give-up play.
Well, Steve Kaiser is special teams coach.
They're trying to talk Mike into going for it on 4th down, I think.
Clock is down to 21 seconds. I think they're going to take the delay of game call now. shows 1 second left. The play clock has expired, so they did let the time run down to 1 second to go.
And they still have to snap the ball. And they'll take the 5-yard penalty and then go in with the 10-3 lead. The Bears will.
I would think they just go with a quarterback sneak now and not take a chance on punting it.
I remember once I did this, I had this situation, and I had Mark Van Eeghen was my fullback, and I said, just snap it to Van Eeghen, and I said, you run out the clock, and I swear, we snapped it to him in punt formation, and he ran all the way for a touchdown.
The name Joe Pisarcik suddenly comes to mind. With Herman Edwards and the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's
the Cincinnati touchdown. After the game, he was asked what kind of shape the team was in for next week.
Well, we really did get banged up, and all I can tell you is that, the Los Angeles Raiders gave us a pretty good beating the last time we played them. And I think that, we got to be ready for them. They got a great defense, and
and that will come down here to 20. Bring it back to the 35.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. I don't know what's wrong with my 9-iron today. Nothing's wrong with your 9-iron. It's you. When he's lined up like he is right now in the backfield.
Second down, 3 from the 42. Jen 3. Chicago leads it. That's James Coley. They got him in motion. Anderson. Pretty good open field tackle from Sam Mills. Get that to a 4-yard gain. How about the effect of the wind on the offensive efforts of these two teams?
Well, you can see that New Orleans with the win at 64 yards against the wind, only 29. The Bears were really pretty good. I mean, that is experience and playing here at Soldier Field. They were 90 yards with the win.
As you watch the game, the wind blowing behind Mike Tomczak's back from left to right. First and 10, Chicago, 10-3 with 13:30 remaining third quarter. Ronnie Morris is the motion man. Tomczak back in for Flat Anderson. Can't hang on. Just a smidgen behind him.
He was starting to run because he knew if he could catch this one, if he gets this ball, he's going to get a few yards with it there. It was thrown behind him. He kind of had to reach for it, and then he got spun around and didn't have any chance. But he was just hoping not only for the catch, but some yardage after the catch.
Second and 10. At one point, Mike Tomczak, 6 of 8. He's missed his last 5. Anderson now out wide of the legs. Straight front back pass, and Tomczak will run. Goes to blocking help and gets a little bit of it from Neil Anderson.
That's where Neil Anderson is such a great player. It's just the little things like that. Neil Anderson was split out as an end that time, and Tomczak was running right at him. And just because he got a block, watch Anderson out here. Now he's going to come up. As Tomczak comes back and starts to run, right here he gets a little block, and that's just enough to almost get Tomczak to first down. But see, right out there, now he knows Tomczak's right. You see a little block right there, and that freed Tomczak up enough to get the first down.
They will stretch, and there it is.
And that was Neil Anderson's block, that little stretch there.
John, when you put together a list of the most complete backs in the league, where do you put Anderson?
I put him at the top of the list. I think when you talk about blocking and catching and running, now that throw of his that he threw left in, that was an ugly old throw, so I won't include that, but I think when you put all the things that a running back has to do, I put Neil Anderson at the top of the list.
Anderson came in after the Chicago Bears won the Super Bowl in January of '86, following the '85 season. So he's had to experience that drill. 25 touchdown. And Mike Tomczak uses one of the Chicago timeouts. 12:34 remaining third quarter. The Chicago Bears lead by 7. It's gone down, so has the thermometer. We've dropped to 22 degrees. 12:34 remaining third quarter. Wind continues out of the northwest, and the forecast doesn't get much better. The concern, of course, is the possibility beginning to go a little hard. Among the other things, of course, this late in the season, no surprise, but Anderson playing with a multitude of injuries, most serious of which a tough rib.
Well, yeah, he had those ribs, and I'll tell you one thing, he's a tough guy. I mean, he played with all those injuries, and talking to Johnny Rowland yesterday, the backfield coach of the Bears, and he said, with all the things that Neil Anderson does and does so well, you tend to forget that he's really a tough guy.
Second down, 2, Bears driving. Led on this drive by Neil Anderson, who gets the carry for the first down for 34. Chicago's second in the league this year in time of possession. And since the first quarter, they have almost tripled the amount of time they've held the football.
Well, they all block. I mean, like on that last play, Ron Morris was split out to the left, and he came driving in, and he makes a block on a linebacker. I mean, we saw Neil Anderson blocking downfield, and that's one thing about the Bears. All the guys on the team, wide receivers, quarterback, and they all block.
So they get one first down, and they got one down. First and 10, 34-yard line. Anderson again. Mills and Johnson, the inside linebackers, make the stop, and it's another 5-yard gain.
Let's watch how the hole starts. Watch Jay Hilgenberg, number 63 there. He has to snap the ball, and then boom, you fire into that nose tackle. You get the big pink going back. He gets a little help from Thayer. You see, and then he gives the drive and everything going back. And just that movement, just that snapping the ball and boom, getting off like that, created enough hole to gain 5 yards.
Jay Hilgenberg, despite saying he did not have his best year, is back in the Pro Bowl for the 6th straight time. And his brother Joel, of course, the starting center for the New Orleans Saints. Anderson again. It'll be third and 3 or 4. Sam Mills makes the tackle this time. Gain of 2.
That's something. Before the game, we saw Jay Hilgenberg, after the Bear team went in, he stayed out to wait for his brother Joel to come off. Then his father came down out of the stands, and they took a picture. So they had a picture of the 2 Hilgenberg brothers and the father. And of course, the one thing in common they all have is they were all centers at the University of Iowa.
That was Joel Hilgenberg you just saw. Jay is on the field. Brother Jim is watching, and Dad Jerry is here. Uncle Wally, I'm sure, is watching too. Here's contact. Incomplete. And it'll be 4th down.
Jay Hilgenberg said when his dad went to Iowa, he was a quarterback. They didn't have anyone that could snap the ball, so they moved his dad there. He said, just thought if it hadn't have been for his dad being moved to center, maybe they all would have been quarterbacks. But when you look at that group, Vern, they look like a group of old centers. Big old batch of centers.
Kevin Butler with the wind at his back from 46 yards out. Though is the center. Tomczak has trouble with it. It's blocked and picked up by the Saints. Vince Buck, and he's got room to go. There are no flags down, and we are a point with it being tied.
I think there is a flag, Vern. I think there was a flag down way over on the other side of the field, on the Saints side of the field.
The 22-yard line, way away from the play.
And the guy that would call that would be lining up offside if it's against the Saints.
Offside. Whoa, boy.
I'll tell you the other thing that's going to do, not only does it negate the touchdown, but that penalty should be a first down. that could be the only thing that they're looking at. That's the guy. They called it on Robert Massey, number 40. They said he was the one that was lined up offside.
That's Leo Miles, the head linesman, and it obviously disturbed Jim Mora. And how ironic, John, that Monday night, Alvin Wright of the Rams broke through to block a kick against the Saints, but he was offside. And the Saints got another chance and won the game.
And I think that was called from the other side of the field. We're in the special teams errors today, and that just adds to it. Remember at one point in the first half I said this thing could be won by special teams, and the special teams have had opportunities to be a big part of winning. As I said, that not only negated the touchdown, but that gave the Bears a first down.
Massey called for offside. And Kevin Butler stays on the bench. Tomczak back in the cockpit. First down. That's a gain of 3. Well, yesterday we all saw a fumble recovery, return for a touchdown, negated by instant replay, and here's the reverse angle.
There he is right here, number 40. Now the ball's on the 28. Now look where his hand is right here. You can see that his hand was lined up over the 28-yard line.
Second down and 7. On the 10-3 is still the score. Short setup, Tomczak goes back to the left side and throws it incomplete at the 5.
One there was just good defense by the Saints because there was no one open. Tomczak looked to the right, looked to the middle, and then he just threw it away to the left. Everyone was covered.
And again, there may be those of you who joined us in the second half wondering about the 91 on the Bears jersey. Fred Washington, their teammate, killed in an automobile accident shortly before Christmas. So in his memory, all of the Bears are wearing number 91.
Tomczak was up a little, he had a little confidence going, and now he's just thrown 7 incomplete passes in a row. So confidence is something that can be like a roller coaster.
He was either waiting for the signal or waiting for a... This last of the first-round playoff games, the Bears lead Chicago 10-3. Where Lundquist along with John Madden and Mike Ditka with Mike Tomczak.
Look at how they leave a big circle around Ditka. That looks calm, right? You think he's a new Ditka. Then watch him. Greg Landry has to come in and he's the mediator.
Third and 7 to the play. And Tomczak on a draw play. Up the middle. First down at the 11. A gain of 9.
Yeah, that's where the Bears have had most running success all day is right up the middle. On that same play, that draw type of play. And that's what Ditka loves. He loves the running game. And watch it, they just open up, they just turn their men in, they turn their men out, and that opens a wide hole for Brad Muster. They've had most success of running that middle area of the field today.
Which means Hildenberg, Player, and Boyce are having fun. Center area. There's Tomczak back into the line for Ditka. 8 consecutive incompletions now for Mike Tomczak.
I think they better go back to just running Neil Anderson and Brad Muster and keeping the ball on the ground. And if you watch Mike Ditka, when he's calling the plays, that's usually what it's going to be.
74 yards up the middle. That is the area of the field that is of most concern if it freezes. James Coley comes in as an extra tight end. Second and 10. 10-3 with 7:44 to go. Third quarter. To the 7.
He'll intercept. Come on, Carrier.
has taken a much more business-like approach to their second appearance in the playoffs. They had that rather gaudy 12-3 record in 1987, but then were blown out by Minnesota. Now he's just hoping his defense can hold here and give his offense a chance at the ball.
Yeah, he had the big chance. I mean, he had the blocked field goal and the touchdown that got away, and now we can get a little moral lift right here by just stopping him and making him have to go to the field goal.
The shotgun. Tomczak has missed his last 8. Shotgun is complete. And Anderson heads for the goal line. He's knocked out of bounds at the 5. They might get him to 2. Vince Buck again, who saved the touchdown in the first quarter.
I think that this is real good Saint defense. I mean, that part of the Saint football has really played championship today. The defensive side, because they've had the Bears been shooting at them all day, and they've been answering those shots pretty good.
So once again, Butler is on, this time from 22. This is a drive that has eaten up more than half of quarter number 3, so ball control, the trademark of the Bears, again a part of it all. The kick is good. And the Chicago lead is increased to 10. Epitomizing ball control, the Chicago Bears 60 yards in 16 plays. They come out with 3, and Dalton Hilliard makes his first kickoff return of the year. And his first appearance since he went down with an injury in week 6. Equals the number on his back for the yards gained on that return, 21. And John Forcade comes back in at quarterback. He replaced Steve Walsh on the last Saint offensive series before the half.
Yeah, you just look at just what happened on that last series as we see Dalton Hilliard come into the game for the first time since the 6th game. But that reminds me of the Philadelphia game yesterday when they had that touchdown that brought back and then the Redskins got the field goal and went on to win the game.
Third quarter.
Well, that's with ball control, and then you got strong defense, so you try and get it right back, and you can really take a whole quarter of football away from a team. I'd like to see him again. Iron had Hayward in there a few times.
He's only had 2 carries for 4 yards. He'll block this time for Dalton Hilliard, who bounces off the tackle and is knocked out of bounds by Dusty Jackson. And there's a Saint player down at the 35.
I'll tell you one thing about Dalton Hilliard, and I remember Ronnie Lott telling me this, so I always, when you think of the tough guys in the league and the tough tacklers, you think of Ronnie Lott. And he told me once, he said, the toughest guy to tackle is Dalton Hilliard. He thinks that he is the toughest running back in the National Football League. He said he has so much power in those legs that when he hits you, and we just saw it on that one, when he hits you, he said he knocks everything right out of you.
That was a gain of 9, leaving the Saints with a 3rd and 1. They're still looking for their first 3rd down conversion. Forcade almost looked like a run for Johnson. And now it's throw it up for grabs, Watson. And who came down with it? Greg Scales, the Saint tight end.
That was an ugly play, too.
That looked like Anderson's pass.
That looked like it took so much time, though. He went out of fake it. He went out there, and then there was nothing else to do with it. So he just threw it up high. Scales just comes down. That's a heck of a catch, though. Coming down and seeing that ball coming over the top of your head and catching it like that. I didn't think Forcade was ever going to get rid of it.
Greg Scales, that's a 31-yard grab. And it would appear that Instant Replay wants to take a look at it for some reason.
I think this will set a record for wild card plays of Instant Replay looking at plays. With Forcade, he had to throw that there. There was a guy hanging on him there. And look at this catch by Scales. He has that ball. Geez, you got to give him that. You can't take that away from him. What do you want?
I don't have any idea what they're looking at. Dennis. Jerry Siemens' mic not working. Well, we can interpret that. The play stands.
You know what I like about Jerry Seaman, though? He's so disciplined. The mic hasn't worked all day, but he still pushes the button on and off.
He's gonna get home tonight. Honey, how did I sound?
He knows how he sounds.
What'd you say? I didn't hear a word you said. Down at the 27-yard line. Well, we mentioned that Joel Hilgenberg is the center for the Saints.
And we see that he's had a heck of a year this year. I mean, when you can do, now, he has help there, I know that, but when you can take William Perry that far back, even with help, you got a little push going.
And that was his brother Jay Hilgenberg. And he said he did not want to watch his brother play today because he cheers for him too much.
That's right, he said that during the whole game, he was going to just look the other way.
Elliott trying to slip loose inside the 25. He's down to 24 after a gain of 3.
Yeah, this isn't a bad idea. I thought maybe the Saints ought to pound old Ironhead in there, but pounding old Dalton Hilliard in there is probably a little better idea. Because he can not only take it inside, the Saints are starting to get a little movement, but he can bounce it outside, or he can bounce it outside and then cut it back inside.
With 3:40 to go, quarter number 3. Forcade almost picked off. John Gale comes up with it. Forcade arguing.
Forcade was saying if someone was being held because he looked like he had a double clutch it. John Forcade looked like he was ready to throw it, then he pulled it back and then threw it again. Everybody's arguing that the guy that he was going to throw it to was being held.
And that brings on Morton Anderson. And he is kicking into a 15-mile-an-hour wind.
Hey, that's the thing that he was talking about. Ron Rivera was holding. That's who he wanted to throw to. He had a double pump it.
Top kick, 22 yards into the wind. Blocked. And picked up by the Bears. At the beginning of the quarter, the Saints blocked a Bear field goal. Returned it for a touchdown, negated by a Robert Massey offside, and now Anderson is blocked.
You know, one thing, when you kick it into the wind, you want to get everything behind it, so sometimes you try and kick it low into the wind. Well, when you kick it low into the wind, like a golf shot, then a guy like Trace Armstrong has a chance to jump up and knock it down.
Every parent should see. After the Trace Armstrong block, the handoff goes up the middle for the Bears, and they continue to test that area with Neil Anderson. That's a gain of 3. Well, they said his offensive teammates said they'd like to see Neil Anderson get the ball 30 times today. They're closing in on that mark.
Well, that's the type of thing that Neil Anderson said that, you know, he would take a win. That's the most important thing because he's a team player, but when he's the most dominant offensive player you have, I think that's a pretty good strategy.
19 carries now for Anderson. 88 yards, and the clock continues to roll. 2:49 to go third quarter. Give you an update on Steve Walsh injury. We are told now from the New Orleans bench that Walsh, who was out with a sprained right shoulder, was playing in an emergency situation only. Lawrence and Baylor on either side of Hilgenberg on second down. Contact across the middle, Brad Muster with a catch. And that's a Chicago first down to 37. Johnson and Mills make the tackle, but the gain is 10.
Brad Buster's a guy who really fits in well with this Chicago Bear offense with Neil Anderson because he's an unselfish player. And when Neil Anderson is going to run, he'll block well for him. If you need a pass receiver, he's a good pass receiver out of the backfield. And you don't have to give him the ball a heck of a lot.
Mustard having by far his best year, both receiving and rushing. As you saw, he leads this Bear team. Anderson, by the way, is second. Davis is third. Here's Anderson's 20th carry. 57 degrees, 57, the number. Would that it was 57 degrees. Ricky Jackson makes the tackle.
Now watch now the Saints know that they have to stop them. So they have to stop the run. So they're putting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys up here in this box. They're taking their safety and bringing them up, knowing that if they are going to stop the Bears, they got to stop their run. So they're starting to gang up on their run to get the ball back.
Now Chicago looking at 2nd and 11. Contact deep left side. Coy Cook with excellent coverage. Excellent coverage. 20 degrees now.
And these have to be the toughest people, the fans, because although some of them have some stuff to drink and stuff, but they just have to sit there and take it. The players, at least they can get out there and move around, but the fans, they can't move around. They can't hit and be hit and chase and do things like that. They just have to sit quietly.
3rd and 12. Final 66 seconds, quarter number 3. Tomzak picks it up and goes left. And then completes the pass. A gain of 13. And Jim Covert struggles a little as he gets to his feet.
That may be one of Tomzak's best plays of his life. Watch this, he's in the shotgun, the ball is snapped, it's low. He has to get back, pick it up, he has good pass protection, and then come back and throw a shot like that out there on the 3rd down for a completion. That is a heck of a play.
I think the cascade of